Hello my fellow kings and queens, I'm Del Rodman Jr. the third, and this is Slow to Pro, the video series where we go from slow to skirt. This is the crown jewel event for Zealous Racing League, and it's the final race of the season, a 1 hour race with a mandatory pit stop for fuel around the beautiful circuit of Kyalami. And instead of qualifying, the starting grid is based on the reverse order of the current championship standings, and the tier 1 drivers are starting behind us tier 2 guys. We will be starting in P5, and it's finally time for the green flag. The plan for this race was simple: go fast, don't make mistakes, and try to put some cars between me and the number 123 Ferrari, because the pilot of that Ferrari is our class leader, Mr. Flores, hailing from Brazil, and he's had about a Brazilian wins this season. So if I want to have any chance of catching him in points, I need him to run out of fuel, and I need to win. Now I know the odds of Mr. Flores running out of fuel are slim to none, especially considering we've got a pit stop for fuel. But my chances of getting my first win in class after screwing it up at Watkins Glen earlier this season, those chances are decent. Headed into sunset now, the Porsche in front of us gonna have a moment. We're gonna be able to squeeze around the outside along with everybody else. Puts us up into P4 for the moment, having to defend now against Mr. Flores trying to make an attempt, but I'm not gonna let it happen. Not today, no sirree, not on my opening lap. Get out of here, Mr. Flores. And we've got a good gap to P3 in front of us now, and a good gap to the next milestone of this here YouTube channel's growth. We're at 330 something now, and we need to get 500 by the time this video is over, or my wife Sheila is gonna leave me. So do me a favor if you haven't already, and subscribe to save my marriage. Click like on the video if you think Sheila is a horrible person for putting such weird boundaries on our relationship. So we ended up completing the opening lap incident free, up one position into P4. But let's go ahead and skip now to lap number 5, when we've closed the gap to the top 3 just in time for Mr. Larson, the resident alien, to weave his way into the mix as we come up the hill. He's gonna go right around the outside of me like I don't even exist. Like if I had feelings, they wouldn't even matter to him at all. Puts us down into P5 overall. Skipping ahead to the bottom of the hill, same lap. We're gonna let another one of the tier 1 drivers through on the inside here. We're gonna run it side by side into the cheetah. I'm just gonna slip right in behind after we clear the turn. Puts us down into P6 overall. Still haven't lost any positions in our class. Let's skip ahead just a bit now to the start of lap number 6, headed into technically turn 2. And we're gonna leave ample room for another tier 1 driver. This one, a fellow brother in Lamborghini and also the race director of ZRL. Mr. Portis II drops us down to P7, but still P4 in our class. And let's go ahead and skip a little further into lap 6. We're gonna let another tier 1 driver through here at the top of the hill. Gonna run it wider than I typically do, and gonna get on the throttle nice and early. Gonna slide in right behind. Got another blue Ferrari on my tail, and I intend to provide the exact same favor for him, so this yellow and blue bastard can get back to battling. Heading into this turn here, gonna keep it extra wide, gonna make sure that he knows he's got the clear, the go ahead. Gonna slide in right behind him. Puts us all the way down to P9, but again, still have not lost any positions to anybody in our class, so we're still P4. Skipping ahead now to technically turn 2 of lap number 7, and I very clearly, intentionally, not on accident, caught some extra curbing to upset the car and allow another tier 1 driver through. Another Lambro, Mr. Reed, puts us down into P10. And now we've got Mr. Flores directly on our tail again. I'm not nervous, he don't make me nervous. Skipping way ahead to lap number 12 now. The pit window has opened, and Mr. Flores had decided to pit early, which has alleviated much of the pressure I was feeling. And we've just caught up to 2 cars in our class. And as we come to sunset, I'm gonna admittedly take a bit of a dive, but I did at least telegraph it. We're able to sweep up the inside, gain a position, puts us up to P3 in our class, P7 overall. We passed a couple tier 1 drivers taking their pit stops. Skipping ahead to the start of lap number 12, got some trouble in technically turn 2, and I missed my braking point. Almost become a part of the problem, another statistic. We end up losing a position back to the Porsche, but we avoided damage that would have lengthened our pit stop. So I guess that's technically a success. Let's go ahead and skip ahead now to when we came out of the pits. I was anticipating that I would come out just behind Mr. Flores since he pitted way earlier than me, but I was delighted to find myself leaving the pit lane with that dastardly 123 Ferrari in my mirror. So I did a lap trying to shake him, and then a lap later, another white Ferrari comes out of the pits. This is important. I didn't realize the importance at the time, but if we skip ahead again, I think I'm battling Flores right now, but in fact, I'm getting in the way of Mr. Burr. He shoves me aside, which allows Flores to make an easy pass, but it doesn't seem like Flores wants to win that way. At least in my mind. I don't know if this was an accident or on purpose, but coming up here on the exit of this turn, it just seems like he maybe takes it a little easy for me and allows me to pass right back up the inside of him there. Headed into sunset now, sitting in P13 overall, P4 in class. Let's skip ahead again. With a little over 22 and a half minutes to go, we found ourselves sitting right behind the number 6 Porsche that we took a dive on earlier at sunset. But by this point in the race, the Porsche didn't have anyone in front compromising their line, so we found ourselves here. About 10 minutes later with 13 minutes to go, and for the first time, I see what I believe to be a window to stuff my big fat bald head into. But this time the window closes on my head and we both lose our chance at a podium, thanks mostly to my over-aggression and lack of intelligence, because even if I had managed to stick it side by side, surely he would have just pulled back in front of me on the next right-hand turn here. Skipping ahead to the start of the final lap now, we gave the position back. P2 in our class had an unfortunate disconnect, which bumped us back up to P4 in class. P13 overall, not where I wanted to finish, but indeed it is where I finished. The final standings for the top class of drivers is on screen now. Congratulations to Mr. Larson on his dominance, Mr. Kapelke on P2, and Mr. Portis, the second, squeezing out a podium by 2 points. Yikes. And now the final standings for the normies like me. Congratulations to Mr. Flores with 3 victories in a row in the middle of the season to secure P1. Feels weird to congratulate myself, so congrats to Mr. Yao for his win of the Crown Jewel event, which moved him from P4 into the podium for P3. And a huge thanks to everyone who showed up each week to keep things spicy. I'll be back next week with something from LFM. As always, thank you for watching Slow to Pro. I'm Dale Rodman Jr. III. You guys have the kind of day you want to have.
Alright, check it flag. Good job. You did the best you could. Now bring the car back.